Wow, okay. Let me just start off by saying that today has been amazing. I don't know what is going on, if it's just because the new moon was in Libra or what, which I have to say, Libra, I know a couple of incredible people who are Libras, and it would totally make sense to me why I am feeling such great energy today. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't been able to stop smiling ear to ear all day, and I'm just really grateful because for people who know me, uh, which very very few. Okay, there's probably one person who knows me really really well. Well, anyways, it's been a really rough few months, and I don't know. I feel like now today things are finally looking up. And excuse this light. This is only like fine. It's one of those artist lamps. I know it's making me look weird and shiny and bright, but hey. And it's storming outside. Well, it's downpouring. Finally in Portland we have rain. It took until October 15th. Okay, for me, I mean, I'm not an Oregon native or a Portland native, but I love the rain. I love storms. I feel like there's something really magical about it and mystical, and it just makes me, I don't know, it makes me feel motivated and creative and ready to, I don't know, do anything. This makes me really excited. I don't know, there's just something else that's been going on that's just been pumping love and happiness through my veins. I'm not really sure what it is just yet, but I know it's something good. I mean, I literally don't know what it is, but I just feel like the universe is working its magic, and something really wonderful is going to be introduced to me. At least I hope. We'll see. This is me just having wishful thinking for the unknown. But, so today what I wanted to talk about was, besides the fact that I randomly decided to go to this yarn shop and ended up learning how to crochet today, I plan on having a hobby now every Saturday. Okay, so besides that, today in my philosophy of religion class, we talked about the teleological argument, which is essentially the design argument. And what that means is that the premises of this is that every design has a designer, okay, or had a designer. The example that the readings talked about was a watch. They used it in comparison to if you were walking along a path and you came across a stone compared to if you came across a watch, you most likely wouldn't question how the rock was made compared to how the watch was made, because you would see all of these gears and, you know, stuff that watches have. You would know that something must have made it, because it isn't so simplistic as just this round piece of material. So, with that being said, every design has a designer, and the universe is obviously a design, a very complex design, which insinuates that there must be a designer. And, essentially the easiest outcome or way to answer that would be that God is the designer of the universe. So, going further into that, we talked a lot about the explanations for human intelligence. Alright, so the three explanations, which is a lot more, but the three that we talked about today had to do with creationism, naturalistic evolution, and theological evolution. And creationism, as you can imagine, has to do with God being the creator of our existence, of the universe, God created Earth, and He created beings, humans, in His own image. So, yeah, that's basically it. And then naturalistic, of course, is the Big Bang Theory, and how there is no divine, and basically galaxies are formed, organisms have developed through a process of natural selection and adaptation to move from less complex biological mechanism to a highly complex intelligence. So over time, all of these, let's say, trial and errors with nature occurred, and then eventually over like billions and billions and billions of attempts or experiments, finally something happened that worked. Hence, the universe, us, organisms, everything that follows suit. One of the things that I really, really liked that is related to the 21st century's ideas of this argument is this example that my professor used was talking about how if a tornado goes through a junkyard and creates an airplane, right? So the most modern argument that we have now is the theological evolution, which is divine intelligence created the condition of naturalistic evolution, where the logic of intelligence is built into the process of biological evolution. So it's kind of combining the two of creationalism and naturalistic evolution. Well, yeah. So what they're saying is that in order for it to be a naturalistic evolution, it's so far-fetched. It's like saying that a tornado was going through a junkyard and then, because of the destruction or construction, I guess, created an airplane. Well, we've never seen any tornadoes create such evolutionary products, right? Something that was just so something that is just so incredibly constructed, just created from a mere accident. Yeah, I understand that. I agree, actually. I think that that is very rare of an occurrence. But at the same time, think about it in this way, where it could be a naturalistic evolution point is, well, over so many billions and billions of years and attempts, that why wouldn't that be plausible? Why couldn't that occur? And so that then I see it in that perspective as well. That aspect, I mean, really, who's to say that that couldn't be the possibility of our existence? Okay, and a lot of people think that, well, it's so much easier that if there is no explanation, I can just say, well, there's obviously an outside force that created us into being. I believe in both things, and I still think that there's a lot of other explanations out there. The reasoning of me talking about this isn't really necessarily having to do with all of that. I just kind of wanted to break it down a little bit just to give you some insight of my day. What I really wanted to talk about is, I always like it when classmates bring up things that are relatable but not necessarily in the context of what we're talking about directly, but obviously relates. So today, one of my classmates brought up Nietzsche and how nihilism, how he believed that religion was nihilism. Nihilism. I know I'm probably saying that inaccurate, but bear with me, okay? Sometimes I pronounce things inaccurately, but you know what I'm saying. Well, nihilism means, from what he explained, it's a universe without meaning, okay? A lot of people might use the example of science. Well, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that, or, be a little butthurt about that, but that was something that my professor used as an example, so beat him up, not me. Anyways, to continue on with what this student was saying is that he was talking about how Nietzsche said that religion was nihilism, basically saying that priest created God to control the masses, to control humanity, and to insert fear and worry about the afterlife, because this life right now is technically a preparation for where you're going to go after you die, based on your morals and how you treat others and yourself, and what kind of things you consume your life with. So Nietzsche was really, really, really against this idea that against religion, essentially, because he felt like it was distracting people from actually living this current moment of life, of taking advantage of the now. And I understand that, and I think Nietzsche is so incredible with a lot of things that he discusses. I think it's really unfortunate that he's misunderstood a lot of the times, but I think that he really just looks at things in all perspectives, and sometimes people just want to cling to a person with one perspective, and that just wasn't him. And unfortunately, a lot of chaos can occur from people who can't understand that from a human being, that people are as simplistic as you want them to be. Understand that. You're not as simplistic as you want to be, just like nobody else is as simplistic as you'd like them to be. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. As I've talked about before, we are so complicated, but we are all the same because we are so complicated. There's so much that we can relate on. I wish that people would stop with all these crazy judgments and these, expectations. Just day to day, just look at people and love them for who they are. Like, if I'm having a shitty day for whatever reason, because somebody has found a way to dig in deep into my heart and, tear a little piece of it off just to be an asshole, and then, I'm walking to class or I'm going somewhere and someone holds the door open for me or says thank you for me holding the door open, that just makes me completely forget about that previous person who was trying to get a rise out of me. Because that's what's most important, is the good deeds in life and the goods that are done by the goods of people. And I think that if maybe people would concentrate that a little bit more, they wouldn't get so affected. And that was something also that we talked a little bit about today, is as I was thinking in the context of the conversation that was being discussed, if everybody were to think about, a lot of people are consumed with trivial day-to-day things that really don't matter, like studying, cramming and to study for a test that's coming up, that if you look at the long run, were you ever going to remember anything from this test? And is the professor ever going to remember the way that you answer things on this test? Or, maybe you are running late for work and you yell at your girlfriend or your wife or your husband or your brother or your mother or your father or son or someone. And it's all because you feel rushed to get to this place. If you look at it in the bigger perspective, is does any of that really truly matter? Because really you're just a speck into this universe, beyond universe, beyond universe. And when you look at life in a perspective of how massive everything beyond us is and how small we are, you really, at least I think about how ridiculous our day-to-day trivial matters get to us. I can't believe the things that we allow into our life to bother us and consume our energy and devour our well-being, all because, we're just enthralled in this cycle of trivialness. It is a distraction from things that matter into things that don't matter. Like, reality TV does not matter. Watching your show for the evening does not matter. Not getting to work on time does not matter. you know, your significant other or roommate not putting the dish in the dishwasher immediately after use does not matter. Needing to have a 9-to-5 job or graduate college after the 4 years after your graduation of high school does not matter. Getting married by a certain age, having kids by a certain age. I just like how many sexual partners you've had, or how many you haven't, or how intellectual you are, or how much you lack intellect. I mean, okay, that kind of matters, but I think that people put a lot of pressure on themselves and on other people, most importantly. But I think that when you put pressure on other people, it's kind of like the pressure that you subconsciously have on yourself. You just don't realize it yet. It's just so minuscule, and it doesn't really matter. I think that if what I was trying to get at, you look at the universe and how huge and vast everything is, and how small you are, and your concerns and your worries, and your discriminations, and your sexism, and all of these negative upon negative upon negative piles of impact that we put on our lives and on other people's lives and other animals and specimens and organisms and everything. It should make you step back for a second and go, whoa, what does any of that really matter? I mean, I'm not a person who plans for my future. I'm really not. I'm a person that, I'm in the moment type of person. And I'll admit that sometimes my emotions get the best of me. But today, I realize that if I'm ever feeling stressed or negative, or getting caught up in something that isn't making me feel good and maybe isn't affecting my surroundings in a positive manner, I can step back and think of the universe. And I know that seems so cheesy to say, but I wish I could go into a little bit more depth to explain how I'm thinking about it. Just to think about all of the stuff that's going on, or all of the things that have been going on, that have been contributed to our creation, or the creators contributing to our creation in the moment of now. How little all of these things that I'm stressed or allowing to be stressed about, how little they are and how little they should affect me and other people in my surroundings. I think that if everybody looked at it in that manner and with that perspective, we wouldn't allow tiny things to control our well-being, or I guess I should say not control our well-being, because really it negatively impacts our well-being. But I really think that we would not be wasting so much time on aspects that don't matter. Like as a college student, sometimes I allow deadlines to stress me out or control my life. And if I'm not in the mood to do something, I shouldn't be forcing myself to do it. I completely 100% disagree with that. And I know a lot of people have been socialized and conditioned to just say, well, that's what you have to do and you need to get it done right now because that's just how it is. I don't agree in that. And I think that if you really thought about that for a while, maybe that's how long it takes, you might agree with that too. You might see how horrible that is to condemn your well-being. Like if I'm studying something and then I realize, holy shit, I have 50 more pages plus like 18 pages of notes to make of this, but I really feel like going for a hike, or I really feel like making this chocolate vegan dessert that I've been dreaming about the past 3 days, then I'm going to do it. And I think everybody else should, because this is your life. Who's to say that anybody is above you and should be able to control you because of their own syllabus? That is so silly. This is what you should be doing, how you should be living, how you should be loving, how you should be smiling. I don't know. Bringing joy to your day is what matters most. Now I completely forgot my rant, my whole reason. I know I was talking with Nietzsche, but I don't know. I kind of feel like I should leave it there. So I love you. all of you. And yeah, I really hope that you get inspired to, I don't know, start feeling inside. Like, I know everybody has this itch to do something really incredible. Like, I've been really itching to garden, and I live in an apartment. I can't garden, but you know what? I finally decided that I'm just going to garden things that I can indoors. And so I did, and maybe that's why, I don't know, my days have been filled with like so much liveliness. Is because now I have these other living organisms in my home. I mean, I have animals too, but plants just breathe life into you, you know? And I'm so grateful for that. And also today, which led me into like walking to a store and learning how to crochet, which I plan on graduating to knitting one day, but one step at a time. And it's all because I didn't like restrain and restrict, I mean, like, you know, I didn't make myself do something that I wasn't feeling in the moment. I don't know, I just feel so good right now. And I hope the energy is being pushed onto you. I don't care if it sounds cheesy, because, you know, we all have days where we don't know what is going on, but you just feel good. And this is my day. And I hope you're having a similar day. Okay.